My next guest is going to be back in action, taking on Jared McLoughlin, Legends of Combat 3 this Saturday, and you can watch that live on Spectation Sports. Happy to be joined by Ethan Pauley here on the program. Ethan, how you doing, man?
I'm doing pretty good, man. How about yourself?
I'm doing great. Not as good as you, though, man. You've been pretty active this year, and, credit to Legends of Combat for putting on all these great cards. When did you find out about this fight? Because obviously this is their third card in a row, the Legends event, and you're a part of it.
Yeah, I knew like maybe 2 weeks after my last one, May 10th,
Nice.
they were going to be doing a show in mid to late July. So just got right back into training camp so I could, hop on it.
There we go. Shout out to our guy Matt Frendo for keeping everyone in the loop. That's always good to get some notice for fight cards. Were there any other opponents in the mix, or was it always just Jared as the opponent?
I think Jared was really like the only guy that we had that would, do it.
Yeah.
Not like, there was like, people not wanting to do it. It was just, kind of shorter. I think we both accepted the fight maybe a month ago.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Well, that's cool. And a veteran, right? He's got 16 fights. Has it been tough for you to get opponents in your career, or you've found it fairly easy?
I guess it's hit or miss sometimes. Sometimes it's been, smooth sailing. Other times, I couldn't get anything to kind of stick. I've done a couple short notice ones as well. But nothing, I would say too out of the ordinary now.
Okay. So I mentioned it there, 16 fights there for Jared. How do you feel like stylistically you match up against him here in this fight?
We're primarily both grapplers. Stylistically, I feel pretty good about it. I actually think we have a fairly similar game. But I'm bringing, a lot of new stuff to the table. I've been working on my striking a lot more, my Muay Thai a lot more, my counter wrestling, everything. I don't like to be just considered a grappler per se. I kind of, mixed martial artist, so I do it all.
Good stuff. And take me through camp a bit. Who've been some of the main training partners that helped you get ready for this fight?
Yeah, so I've been training primarily with, two of the guys that are also fighting on the card. They both fight in my weight division, Carlo Basci and David Hody, and then as well as, Austin Basci.
Oh, good stuff. Yeah, I know Austin was doing some training in Vegas, so he was back home for this camp, I guess.
Yeah, he was doing a lot of training. He did a lot of training with Diego Lopez too.
I saw that. That's pretty cool to be able to work with him. Obviously, Diego's got a big fight coming up here against John Silva, so.
Yes. Yeah. No, but he's been back primarily for the last like 2 months, I would say. So yeah, he's been a big help in camp. He always is. He helps push the pace for the whole team and everybody. He's kind of a machine, that guy.
Yeah, and what do you think it says about it's something in the water in Michigan, man? Like for years, Michigan has had such a strong MMA scene. If you go all the way back to, and I'll consider him a Michigan guy, Tony Ferguson. You've got obviously Jamal Hill, Cody Stamen, and now a guy like yourself who's on the come up as well. What do you think that says about just the strength of the programs and the gyms in Michigan? You guys are all kind of making your mark.
Yeah, no, there's a lot of top level gyms here in Michigan. I never really considered it, I guess, too much until I started fighting, that there was a lot of, talent and a lot coming out of Michigan, and especially Legends of Combat. Like you mentioned, Jamal Hill, he was the Legends of Combat light heavyweight champion. Austin was their bantamweight champion. He's in the UFC now. So just, a lot of top prospects, I would say. I don't really know if there's anything particularly in the water, but we do have a lot of good coaching. I know specifically on my end. All my coaches have, more experience on the mats than I've been alive. And then as well as, Métis, national Lumpini champion back in Thailand during the golden age of Muay Thai.
I also think that one of the things you see with Michigan as well, and correct me if I'm wrong, but there's a lot of support. Like, sometimes there's like rival gyms in certain pockets of the U.S. where, guys don't want to train with each other. But I just feel across the board, if you're from Michigan, you're going to have support from everyone in the industry.
Yeah, no, everyone's pretty cool in the community. In Michigan, I've found there's not really a ton of animosity, I would say, between gyms. We cross train occasionally. I wouldn't say we do it all the time, but we'll stop in other gyms. Other people will stop in, at Warrior Way, and we'll train with them. As well as, kind of like mixing and matching. There's another guy like Tyler Grimsley. He's come to Warrior Way a couple times because he's friends with a couple of the fellas. He's a cool dude as well.
Yeah. Good. Well, that's all worked out. You seem like you're in a great mood, so I imagine the weight cut's going well.
Yeah, it's not, fun, obviously,
right.
But I've done this, 17 times now, so it's not anything I'm not used to, no.
Good. Your corner, what's that going to look like? Who's going to be making the trip with you and being in the cage with you?
That'll be my head coach, Brandon McDaniel, as well as, like I mentioned, Métis, and then Austin as well.
There we go. Not bad having Austin in the corner there. And how's this fight playing out on Saturday? How do you see it unfolding?
I see myself, coming in there and just, taking anything he has really and just giving it back tenfold. I think I got more cardio, more stamina, more durability. I'm not gonna like sit here and like toot my own horn, but I train every day. I train, twice a day. This is what I do. So
Yeah, just part of the
however it's
lifestyle.
gonna go, I'm gonna get the finish, whether that's striking on the feet, submission, ground and pound, wrestling, you name it.
You get the win here on Saturday, 7-1 record. Timing of this is pretty good. We got Contender Series coming up. I know they're booking those cards up, but you got to think here a win is got to get you at least a short notice opportunity on something like that. Like the timing of this fight and the opportunity is pretty big on Saturday.
Yeah, I would definitely be interested in doing that, even if it was short notice. Probably have to get a management team here. I've been kind of holding off on that for, a little bit, but things are, becoming kind of particularly real, I would say. So
That's good.
that's what we're gonna be going for. We're gonna, walk in 6-1, walk out 7-1.
Yeah, it's a
All good.
good. I was going to say it must be a good situation as well because Matt Frendo's been putting on cards all the time at Legends of Combat. So even if there isn't a big show call, you're going to probably be active, right? Is that kind of? I mean, it seems like he can rely on you as well. That hey, if I need someone on a card, Ethan's my guy.
Yes. I've done a lot of shows with other promoters in Michigan. Frendo's always been really good to me, as well. I had last year when I was, first starting out as a pro, I had a fight fall through on fight night.
Oh no.
Um, and Frendo was, he's really good to me. He paid me both, show and win money afterwards, even though I didn't compete. So that was really cool. As well as giving me time to go into the cage and give a little bit of a minute or two speech to my friends and sponsors and everyone who came out to support me that didn't get to actually watch.
Yeah, that's good. I got to mention this. Has anyone ever told you kind of remind me of Paul Felder a little bit? You got even with the mustache and everything, like even the way you talk, man, it's kind of crazy. Like I've interviewed Paul before. I'm getting like a Paul Felder vibe from you, which is a good thing. Obviously, good fighter and even better analyst.
No, yeah, I've gotten that. I've gotten that a lot from a lot of people that like I don't even know. There's be like Paul Felder. I remember one time our coach posted like a picture of me or something, and even a guy I've met one time, Kenny Cross, was just like mini Paul Felder in the comments, and I just kind of thought it was funny. I get that a lot though,
Doesn't surprise me from Kenny. That
especially
guy's
on the
quite the character. By the way, why is Kenny not in the UFC? I don't understand that. What's going on there? Good personality, good fighter. There must be some politics going on there, but that's one I
yeah.
don't understand at all.
I'm not sure. I don't know too much about him. Like I said, I've only met him like one time,
Oh,
but
okay,
he's
gotcha.
a beast in the cage. He
Yeah.
finishes most of his fights. He's fairly active, and like you said, he's got the personality to boot.
Yeah. If someone came up to you and thought you were Paul Felder, would you not correct them just to do it as like a running joke?
No, yeah, I would run with it for sure. I think that would
Good.
be kind of funny. But like I said, I think at least one time every time I fight, somebody mentions that I look like Paul Felder.
There we go. So you're probably annoyed at this point of me bringing it up, but it's all good. We got through the interview. That's why I saved it for last. If I said it off the top, this interview probably wouldn't have gone too well. So it's all good. Ethan, thanks so much for doing this, man. Legends of Combat 3. If you're in the area, go check it out. But if you can't, Spectation Sports is where you can watch that fight. If there's anyone you want to thank before we get out of here, any sponsors, any social media you want to mention, I'll give you the last word.
Yeah, I just want to, thank obviously everyone over at my gym, Warrior Way Martial Arts in West Bloomfield. All my coaching, training partners, and then just like, all the people that come in for jiu-jitsu, what have you. They've been a really big support, really big help. They always come out to all my fights. As well as, my sponsors, Team Mem Construction, Core Chiropractic, Movement Theory, and Restore Deck.